Hello, everyone. This is Jackie Van Workum, founder of Grieving Moms Finding Hope, and welcome to Hope After the Landslide. I'm in my usual place here from the fireplace, but we don't have it on today because it's a really warm day today. I have a very special guest. They're all very special, and her name is Juanita. And Juanita was, I'm going to make the laugh and say, voluntold to get on Facebook Live with Jackie tonight. I won't steal Juanita's thunder in sharing how this all came about, but it came about very quickly. So welcome to our weekly Tuesday again, Hope After the Landslide. We're here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the objective for doing these Facebook Lives is to help you moms, to give you hope after your landslide, and to keep you going and to link arms together with some of the other moms that are out there that are experiencing the same kind of pain. And I am so sorry that we do have to be here together in this on this platform, but it is a wonderful tool to be able to help us get healed. Hi, Sherry. And if you guys want to go ahead and put on there in the comments where you're viewing from, we would love to see that. And we'd also love for you to interact as much as possible as we're going through this conversation together. Juanita and I do have something other than just losing a son in common. We have lost our child, our sons, to suicide, death by suicide. And we know that this is becoming an unfortunate epidemic. And I have such a heart and compassion, more so than I ever did, it seems like, in the last few weeks with all these things that have been going on. But Juanita is here tonight to share just her story and how God has helped her along. And I will just let you go right into it, Juanita. And thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me, really. It's, I think it's a gift from God. And I'm hoping that I can share something that'll help any of the moms out there.
Yes.
My son, Ray, had just turned 39, and he died by suicide on January 10th of this year. He had been struggling with anxiety, depression, and it was actually his second attempt. His first attempt was in November of last year, and I think that's when we all kind of just realized, oh my gosh, he is really in despair, and so we tried to help him by relieving some of financial burdens and bringing him into our home. And just, I have a huge extended family, and so, and I just moved my mom, also who was 90, into our home. And I thought, what a better place than to be with grandma and all the aunts and uncles that, come to help with grandma, and just give them a lot of love and show them a lot of love. And, unfortunately, we just couldn't pull him out. He was just really, I've learned now how deep that despair can be and how hopeless it could be. And he was a sweet kid growing up. He was very caring and loving. He did things even in his adulthood, like he would go during Thanksgiving and help feed at the soup kitchens, and he has 2 kids, and he would have the kids make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and put them in bags and draw a color on them, and then take these bags down by the river here in our town and give them away.
I love that.
Always thoughtful. He would seek out people. I have a huge extended family, like I said, and so he would seek out people in the family that were struggling financially, and he would try to help them out, like buy them a Christmas tree, if it was really hard that year for someone, and buy them baseball gloves for their kids. So he was very much loved, and sometimes, just
And then what you had said yesterday when you shared in group, like, and I apologize if he kind of said it, but he just really was struggling with his job, right?
Yeah, he had tried to move from Northern California to Southern California, and he felt like that was the catalyst for the whole breakdown in his life that was happening. And he had half of his household in Northern California and half in Southern California. And he was, took the job because it paid money and it was a better position. But he just found out really quick that it wasn't going to work out. And so he felt like he had failed. He failed his family. And it was a real big struggle in his marriage. And so he just he went on a downward spiral from there. He came back to Northern California and then tried to pick up where things left off, but it was hard. He struggled. His job wasn't there when he came back, and financially it was hard. It was hard on his marriage.
So difficult for men. They have they feel such a big responsibility as the caretakers of their family. From that standpoint, and if they when they lose hope, it's usually because they feel like that one main role that they have was not fulfilled within their family, that they're a failure. But I mean, we all know that that's just not the case. They just all of a sudden they do lose hope. I want to take a moment and just say hi to some of the ladies that are on here, Juanita. And Juanita is in Santa Rosa, correct?
Yes.
Yes, she's in beautiful wine country up there, the rolling hills. Say hi to Sherry and Kathy Brown Taylor, who is the sister group of Grieving Moms, which is Hurting Moms Mending Hearts. So thank you for being here, Kathy. And she said to tell you that it takes courage to be out here on this Facebook Live, and you're like, yes, it does. Hi, Mary West. And so thank you guys for being on here, and you can continue to post in here if you're just joining us where you're viewing from, and if you have any questions. And Juanita, tell me your relationship with God through this, because I know that sometimes it goes one way or another. A lot of times, we always say that you in the very beginning are saying, why did this have to happen to me, God? I go to church, I tithe, I do all these things, but that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with that. And now I think you just shared with us yesterday in our group time, that you're more at that place of saying, what do I do with this?
Right. I really believe that God's been, I'm having I guess. I don't know, do you hear it?
What's that?
I'm getting some feedback, but is that you or me?
I don't know. I think I'm having your maybe if you get a little closer, because I'm having it's a little low. Your volume's a little bit low, but I don't know if anyone's getting any feedback.
Yeah, so I really believe that I've always had a really strong faith base, yes, and found my relationship with God more personal relationship than I had grown up with. In my family, it was more like a God up there, up in the cross somewhere, and so I was really grateful when this happened with Ray. And remember that I had a place and I had a relationship, with God. And so, I mean, I called everything I knew from the things I grew up with, every saint, every prayer that I knew for help, and so when Ray took his life in January, I just, I didn't know what happened. I mean, I thought I was doing all the right things, and I asked God, as I was standing there one day in the cemetery trying to pray the Our Father, falling to my knees because I didn't know how we ended up here, in this place, in the cemetery with Ray gone. And so, and I just felt, all of a sudden, I just felt his grace, his spirit. Like, I'm not going to leave you alone. I'm here and I'm going to help you and we're going to get through this. And so, boy, from the books I was getting from people, my daughter who introduced me to Grieving Moms, which I'm so grateful for, and connected us. And, a Bible study that came up that was entitled, I brought the book, it was Detours, the Unpredictable Path to Your Destiny by Tony Evans.
Okay.
Yeah, timing, God's timing, God's plan. Yes. And I just felt like, all of these things were coming to me to help me out of the landslide, to come up for some air. And to just, grieve what I needed to, what I need to grieve, and to learn what I need to learn, to learn more about, Jesus and his life. And yeah, it's been really amazing.
Well, and too, Juanita, my goodness, it's only been 6 months, and here you are, and quite possibly, and we talked yesterday, and I just want to share with the ladies too that Juanita and a couple of the ladies are in the group that I am doing on Monday mornings at 8:30 a.m. California time, and so we had some time to share about a few things, and of course, just happening in January, and we have these groups that. She thinks she probably took a long time to get herself into a group, but truly, after 6 months, you're doing the right thing because you are linking arms with us. And I don't know about you, but I really, truly look forward to getting in those group times on the Zoom with all of you, because I just feel an instant bond and connection. And I want to also, do you want me to share how we actually connected? Let you share.
Well, my daughter went to find some help at Saddleback one day, and Jackie happened to be, I think you talked that night, and she heard you.
Yeah, the Survivors of Suicide group that meets.
Right. And so she just came up to Jackie and said, I guess she's just really worried about me. And she's like, my mom really needs a lot of help, and she's in a lot of pain. And so Jackie gave her the information, and then Alita forwarded that to me. And I just felt like the minute that we emailed each other, I felt a connection. And since that day, I've been reading all of the Hope at Sunrise writings, which you do every morning, that gets posted to our emails and also to the Facebook page. And that's, oh gosh, that's like a lifesaver. And days that I can't really get going, or I need to get going. And I mean, I am getting going, but it's just not going well. And so I just, a lot of what I've been trying to do is just really listen in my heart to God and to what, path He wants me to take and what things to get into. And so I've been praying a lot about getting into a group. And then I heard one mother speak one day, and she just really spoke to my heart. And I thought, okay, I need to do this now,
Remember who it was? Was it Lisa?
It was Luann, I think.
Luann.
Yeah, Luann.
And God, and by the way, I just want to say, God bless Luann, and pray for Luann, because she just lost her mom. I think it was just yesterday. So yeah. And Luann is also in our group on Monday, but so yeah, she came on and shared it. She had a couple people tell me the same thing about that. So I don't know what she said, but it must have been something that was like you said, straight to the heart.
It did. I mean, I just felt like, okay, God, this, and it's Monday morning early, and I tell you, I'm not really a morning person. You could ask anybody in my family, but I thought, okay, I'll do it.
And you did, and you were quite a chipper.
Oh man, and it was, we had that one session, and it was amazing.
It's just very healing in so many levels. And for those of you that haven't had these, God divine appointments, like I did with Juanita and her daughter. And by the way, her daughter was so incredibly sweet. And I'll be honest, like I really did think that she didn't say that you were like really bad or anything, but she just had this heart of love for you. And she was like, my mom, like she really needs some help. And I pictured this woman in bed, like, with her nightie on and, never getting out. And then when I meet you, it's like, Juanita, you're doing so, so well for being only 6 months out. And I know that you have a lot of family and you're such a caregiver for the family. And that does really help. And I want to say, ladies, everybody will say, gosh, I lost my son or my daughter. And then I had all these things happen in my life. And gosh, I just wanted to spend some time, grieving and going through whatever needs to be done to grieve. But let me just say, like, God knew exactly what the circumstances were going to be, what purpose that you were going to have, what responsibilities, what strength that you were going to have to be able to continue to day become involved, giving you that very reason. For me, I always say, my two adorable grandsons that I call my princes and my daughter-in-law that I had within the house, like, I mean, when you've got two little boys who are traumatized too, it's like you have no choice to get out of bed, because if you don't, they're going to get you out of bed. So we have all these things. So don't ever, think that God's like, why did he have this happen right after? Because whatever it is that has happened, he just knew that that was going to be a part of your healing journey, as complicated as it sounds. Hey, and my friend is on here, Sudel. Hi, Sudel. Thank you for being here. I don't know if you're still out there. And we were talking about suicide, taking life by suicide, and that is our sons. And I wanted to, as a side note, share with you guys that I just happened to go. I watch a lot of like TED Talks and things because I like to kind of stay with the current, what's happening. And I came across, and it doesn't mean you have to have someone that is, if your son or daughter took their life by suicide to watch it. I really just felt the courage coming from Sue Klebold, which was the mother of Dylan Klebold, one of the shooters at the Columbine school years ago. And if I may, I wanted to read this couple paragraphs, not a long paragraphs, but just a couple things that I took from this that really helped put a light on suicide. And I would really encourage you to watch it if you are in a place where you're feeling the guilt and the woulda, coulda, shouldas, because if any woman is going to feel that woman was one of many probably that happened to be involved and their child was in a school shooting. But as we always say here, Grieving Moms Finding Hope, we don't bring scales to the table because everybody has their own set of layers and load to carry through this horrific landslide day. But she said that this woman said to her, what I've learned from others is that we cannot make this so-called decision or choice to die by suicide the same way that we choose what car to drive or where to go on Saturday night. When someone is at extremely suicidal phase, they are in a stage 4 medical health emergency. Their thinking is impaired and they've lost access to tools for self-governance. Even though they can make a plan and act out of logic, their sense of truth is distorted by a filter of pain for which they interpret their reality. Some people could be very good at hiding this state, and they often have good reasons for doing that. As she says, but my son's death was not purely a suicide. It involves mass murder. I wanted to know how his suicidal thinking became homicidal. The research is sparse, and there are no simple answers. Yet he probably had ongoing depression. He had a personality that was a perfectionist and self-reliant, and that made him less likely to seek help from others. Sometimes they don't even really want you to know because they're afraid of hurting you by bringing you involved in it. He experienced triggering events at the school that left him feeling debased and humiliated and mad. And he had a complicated friendship with a boy who shared his feelings of rage and alienation. So in that moment, I believe she said that, that day was not about them shooting and killing anybody. That day was more about the severity of the pain that they experienced, and that separated it. But this woman went on, and I thought, she is standing in front of and doing a TED talk, and it was, I don't know if she's a believer, but it was Holy Spirit driven. I know it was, because I mean, it was flawless. She answered and addressed every question and concern and judgment that was placed on there, because we have to stay educated in this suicide attempts and the death by suicide, because we do have to remove the stigma, but because the mental health is what it is. And if we think for a moment that any of us are exempt from having a dark day, and losing hope, it doesn't matter if you're a Christian, we are all capable. So the answer to this, of course, is to link arms with others. And we're doing that in a way that's different from the mental health part of it. But in a sense, being a grieving mom truly is almost like a mental health thing, because you have gone through a very traumatic event. It doesn't mean that you're permanently ill. It does mean that you will lose things and you'll forget things. And we're just, Juanita was sharing like something that happened before, which I won't even go into, but I made her laugh. So that's always my goal, is to make moms laugh. And if you ever have a private conversation with me, I will tell you what had happened. But anyway, it's just a sense of like saying, we are in a temporary place of maybe anxiety, depression, whatever it happens to be, but it doesn't mean it's a permanent state, right? And that's how we can get through this, is just how Juanita and I are doing, just how we do in our groups that we have, a choice of the groups that are on the grievingmoms.com Facebook. I'm sorry, Grieving Moms website that you can sign up for. And there's also a link here at the top. But that is the way that you have to do it. As hard as it may seem, you need to take that small step every day. And again, and Juanita is not, Superwoman, Wonder Woman. She's not like somebody that is just, oh, well, that's her, that she was able to get herself involved and get the help she needed because that's just her personality. No, she trusted God, and she took those signs from her daughter and all the things, and she said, I'm ready. And now here she is. And I'm so honored and humbled to have you as a friend and a courageous woman in my life. And I know you're coming down to Southern California, so we better get to connect, right?
Right. Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely not a super kind of woman. I mean, I remember, when you get busy raising your kids and stuff, I remember my kids saying, Mom, do you have any friends? Because I never really used to seek out, people. And because I have a huge extended family also, I didn't, I always had sisters to talk to, or sister-in-laws. But yeah, it's not an easy thing. It wasn't an easy thing to reach out, but I'm so glad that I did. And I'm so grateful to my daughter for the connection. And
also yeah. Courageous lady. And I want to say that when you had said they ask you if you have any friends, and just speak for a second about like the siblings that have lost their brother or sister, and in that statement I hear, I'm really struggling too, and I really hope my mom has some friends that can step in to help to relieve me a little bit from having to feel that I'm responsible for making sure my mom or my dad is going to be okay, right? Because they love us so incredibly much.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times the spotlight is on the parents and not so much on the siblings. And, if any of you have, other children that, are still here and they're grieving terribly, I would really obviously encourage them to find groups. I don't think there's probably enough for them to be involved, but I know at that age, some of them, they're going to say, oh no, we're okay. But you always just have to do a check-in. I want to say hi to Sharon in Gilbert, Arizona, my good friend Sharon. She's also part of the Grieving Moms community. So yeah, again, your daughter, I'm so thankful for her. And she really is truly a courageous lady, because to go to survivors of suicide is heavy, heavy stuff. And she was there. And I think partially it was because of her mama.
Yeah. Yeah, she really was so close to her brother and misses him so much. And so she definitely has her grieving to do. And you know, because we all do, um, it's helpful. It's helpful to go out and seek for help, you know, outside of our own little circle.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. What is an average day for Juanita as far as like making it day to day?
Average day. Well, you know, I told you my mom moved in with me last year, and even though it just changed my whole life, my husband and I had no kids in the home anymore, and we brought in my mom. So, you know, it was stressful then, but it's really become a blessing because I wake up early in the morning to get her breakfast going and get her, you know, out of bed. I have a lot of help from family, but I do get up early now, um, and I get that going. And you know, I try to do my prayers, and if I have time, I'll stop by and bring my book and my yoga mat and go up and sit where we have raised ashes laid to rest, and it overlooks the city of Santa Rosa and out towards the mountains. And I just read my prayer out there. And if I need to cry, you know, I cry. And if I don't, I just kind of sit there and think about all the good things, all the good times we had. And then I try to make it into my office. I have a wonderful um, job. Yeah, it's very flexible.
Which
And
they're allowing you to use their conference room right now.
yeah, yeah. So wonderful people, very loving. And so I try to make it in here and do as much as I can. And then it's back home to mom and, you know, the family and dinner.
I love that I hear a balance. I hear a very healthy balance in your day, Juanita, which is, you know, having a sense of purpose to get up to take care of your mom and, you know, having a job to go to. But most importantly, in the midst of all of those things that she has to do, because there's expectations there, but she makes the time to go and cry and pray. And now she's added to her schedule to be with me and the other ladies on Monday mornings, even though she doesn't like to get up early in the morning. And this is what we're going through, which is the resurfacing support book. And there's 12 weeks that we go through this, and we do talk about subjects that are very relatable to what it is you're going through. I will always preface it by saying we're not teaching you how to grieve. We're not teaching you that you're grieving too slow or too fast. We're just here to help you to continue to go through it. And, you know, we have so many basic things. You know, forgiveness is a huge one, that we have family dynamics. We talk about the day of the landslide itself, and just an awareness of what to be expected, and to give yourself grace, knowing that, oh, okay, that's it's kind of normal that I did this or I didn't do that. And you know, I have had days where all of a sudden I think I was sitting outside and I was planting something, and I started watching a trail of ants. And I was like, wow, look at, they're just busy all day. I bet you they don't have to. What if they think about like a dead ant that they're grieving? You know what I mean? Like, it was like I just went into this staring of, and I didn't know like how to get out of it. And I just thought, you know what? That's because my mind is exhausted. It's just so tired, and it just didn't want to think about anything. It just wanted to look at ants at that moment in time. Hi, Cindy from Roy, Utah. Welcome. Thank you for being here. So I do love that you have a beautiful balance in your day. And yeah, I'm so thankful that I have you in there, because to be honest, was a little concerned also, because I kept seeing you out there, and I thought, should I get a hold of her? Because I know after talking to your daughter that I thought maybe I should really reach out to her. And now here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Here we are,
Yeah,
and look at that.
Appreciated all of the Facebook Live that other moms shared, and you know, their hearts and their courage.
A dedicated viewer, Juanita.
Yeah.
And you know what? We always say here, we are not professionals. You know, this is Facebook Live. You know, we can be open, we can make mistakes, and look at, it's 6:29 right now, and you have made it through the 30 minutes that we could spend together here live, and you are still okay. Isn't that awesome? praising God for no technology problems and just a smoothness, and for your open and willingness, Juanita, for being here. I know the moms loved hearing from you. And if you have any, questions and comments that you'd like to share, and thank Juanita for even being out here, we would love to have that. And we have another mom lined up for next week. But if you have it on your heart that you want to share your story and how God has carried you through, and the support and help that you've had here at Grieving Moms Finding Hope, we would love to have you to share that with us here at Hope After the Landslide. And until then, I will look forward to seeing you then, and I will look forward to seeing you, my new friend, next Monday morning at 8:30 a.m. And I think we have called, well, I'm calling it NMR, which is no makeup required.
Perfect.
No makeup required, and you could still have sleep in your eyes and your coffee cup, and you can be even sitting in your bed. It's all good. But if you're interested in getting into a group, right there at the top of our Facebook Live right now, we have a link that shows you how to get into a group. You can start a group in your own home if you'd like to. And then don't forget, as Juanita said, that if you want to get the Hope at Sunrise devotionals that I write and have them in your email every morning, you can certainly do that. And then also I have them here on Facebook, but it is easier to have them done to your email. So anyways, I love you, friend. You're amazing. And prayers for your continued healing, Juanita. And thank you for your time. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Good. God bless everybody. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.